Hello everyone, and welcome to Tasty Tuesdays with Tara, where your host is a realtor by day and at night, a gourmet. Tonight, we are going to be making a chili crusted salmon. With, I'm glad that didn't explode. I dropped my pepitas. I have some pumpkin, upside down. Pumpkin roasted pumpkin seeds with sea salt that we're going to be putting into the salad. So to go back to what we're making tonight, we are making a chili crusted salmon over a Mexican inspired salad. Let's just call it that. It's all just something that is going to be fresh and delicious and delightful. So let's get started. First of all, let's go through our ingredients. And here is a gorgeous fillet of salmon. Look at this. All that color and beauty. I love salmon. That's going to be our main squeeze there. We're also going to do a little bit of a spinach salad. So I just have a bowl of spinach here, and then all of the accoutrement that we're going to go into there is we're going to use some lime and some olive oil as our dressing base. If you're wondering why this lime is so light in color, it's been in my refrigerator for a little too long. So let's see if we can squeeze some juice out of that. We're going to add some fresh garden tomatoes to our salad. These are from my mama's garden. Of course, we're going to put some avocado. One of my favorite things is avocado. And we're going to slice up some very thin slices of yellow onion into the salad as well. So that's what we're going to do. So let's go ahead and get started. One of the first things that you need to do is obviously to prepare your fish. You want to rinse it and then you want to pat it dry. So this salmon has been patted dry and it's ready to go. One thing if you're doing portions of salmon, then you want to make sure that you cut the salmon before you actually begin to cook it, because it's nice and fleshy right now. After it's cooked, it becomes really flaky and you can't get a really nice solid cut through the salmon after it's already cooked. It flakes off in different waves. So pro tip, make sure you cut it before. Oh, hey, Janny Fanny. It's my mama and she's watching. Hi, Mom. So we're going to go ahead. This is a pretty big piece of salmon. I'm going to cut it into 3 portions. So I'm just going to cut along the grain of the flesh here. I'm going to cut. Make 3 as even as I can cuts on here. And sometimes when you're cutting salmon, even when I use, this isn't my Kyocera knife, I'm saving that for the vegetables, but even when I do use my Kyocera knife, sometimes I can't get through the skin. The skin is really tough. So I have these kitchen shears, which I love. I use these for so many things. I use them to cut up herbs. I use them to cut through bone. I use them to cut through flesh. So let's go ahead and use this to cut through the skin of this salmon. I'm going to follow the cut that I did with the knife. Did I turn my thing on? I hope so. There, I did. Yay. My microphone wasn't working the last couple times because I hadn't gotten the hang of it yet. So now I have the hang of it. And I'm just going to cut through the skin. Now, some people like to skin the salmon itself. I usually eat the skin on the salmon. No, I was just going to say that, Philippe. Actually, it's not weird at all. I was just going to say that a lot of people will take the skin off. I love the skin on salmon. I think it's crispy, and if you cook it just right, it's almost like having a little potato chip, and it's like yum, 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 crunchy. I love it. So no, I don't think it's weird at all. I like to eat it, and it's packed with all kinds of nutrients. So if you can handle it, eat that skin. You're going to get some good vitamins in there. Okay, so now we have our salmon. Let me grab a paper towel, everyone. We have our salmon sliced into 3 different slices. When you're cooking, you should always have kind of your meat hand or your flour hand or the hand that you're not going to touch anything else with until you wash it. So my left hand is my fish hand. I'm going to be doing the spices with my right hand. And once I get these into the pan, I'm going to then wash my hands and create the salad, okay? So the first thing that we're going to use is some garlic powder. Look at me. I'm so low on garlic powder, but we have enough to get through. So let's go ahead. I should have uncapped these first. I'm going to go ahead and sprinkle this salmon with the garlic powder. Pretty generously. Then the next one is smoked paprika. This is one of my favorite spices, smoked paprika. I love the smokiness it brings to meats and fishes, or fish dishes, I should say. So let's go ahead and do a generous sprinkle of the smoked paprika as well. Now remember, this is if you look at the thickness of this fish, it's pretty thick. Can we see that? Let me hold it up for you. It's pretty thick. So it may look like I'm sprinkling a lot of the spices on top, and I am, because you have to get that taste. It's not going to penetrate all the way through the flesh, so you want to make sure that that top bite or the top crust is totally encrusted with spices so that it flavors the entire bite as you're eating the salmon. So generously sprinkle these spices onto the fish. And then last but not least, we're going to go in with some chili powder. Chili powder. I shouldn't say last but not least because we haven't hit the special salt and pepper box yet, which we're about to do. So chili powder. This one I'm going to probably use the most of because it is chili crusted salmon, right? So let's get that chili powder going. Could it go any slower? This little 5-hole mechanism here. All right, shake, 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 shake. And I think we're good. Now, what I like to do when I put my spices in a dry rub, they're just sitting on top right now. I'm going to go ahead and press the spices into the flesh so they have a better chance of staying on the fish as they cook. So very, very simply, I'm just going to pat them in. I'm going to press them down into the flesh. Now, if you have the time, I wanted to obviously do this demonstration. If you have the time to stick this back in your fridge and let it sit for a half an hour or an hour before you cook, even better, because then maybe some of the spice taste will penetrate in. All right, let's see what we've got going on here. Do your clients look for nice kitchens typically? Yes, there's lots of great cooks in my market. Little story about kitchens. My parents have an awesome gourmet kitchen. My dad built from hand everything, even the cabinetry. It took him 20 years. I should do a live from their house sometime so you can see. But yeah, people love to cook in this area. I've met a lot of other gourmet people. All right, so that's what it's going to look like once it's all patted in, okay? So we're going to finish this off. Oh, sorry, you know what I didn't do is, hold on, from the pepper box. I can't touch it with my fish hand, but from the salt and pepper box, I'm going to put some pepper in here, on here as well, and pat it in. Now, I'm not going to do salt until the fish is done. Anything from the sea, I kind of go really light on the salt until it's cooked, because sometimes just having been in salty water, it can be salty enough, especially like we had some shrimp last night, which were delicious. Red Argentinian shrimp. If you've never had wild caught red Argentinian shrimp, definitely try them because they have a different texture. They're so yum, but they're a little bit salty. So when I did Old Bay seasoning on them last night, which contains salt, it was a little too much. So we're going to salt this at the end to taste. All right, so here we go. There's our salmon. It's all patted in, and now let's go ahead and start our little saute pan. Look at this, guys. I have not ever cooked on this other than on a Tasty Tuesdays. We've been doing this since the beginning of the year, and look at that little cook spot in the middle. I should have probably gone with a black pan, but I really liked this one for the induction cooker. All right. What are you doing? Come on, late. Here we go. All right, so let's do a little stir fry action. Gonna lower the heat here, setting it about 250, just till it starts to get hot. Now I am going to start. I'm going to start this with olive oil, and then I'm going to finish it with butter. If you put butter in the pan too early, it has a tendency to burn. If you do like a browned butter, it's very nutty and delicious. So you want to let it get to that point, but you just don't want to let it burn, okay? So I'm going to go ahead. I'm using the palm of my hand because I haven't. Ooh, look at that. Look at that fish spice hand. It's just spices. Get that later. And I'm going to put some olive oil in here. All right. And as soon as I get my fish in there, I'm going to wash all of this goodness off of my hands so that we can make the salad. So waiting for this to get hot. All right. Here we go. I want to hear it sizzle, so I'm not going to put it in early because I want to hear it sizzle. And I want to make sure the pan, oh, I can't do that with this pan. I forgot. You can't lift it up off an induction cooker because it'll just like stop working. Because the pan actually has to be in contact with the induction cooker in order for it to keep going. So just one more minute while it heats up. I didn't want to turn it on too early either because it's loud. Can you hear that? It's like, I don't like to hear that the whole time. So I'm just waiting for it. Okay, I think we're good. So I'm going to take the fish with my little fish hand and I'm going to stick it in the pan. I'm going to try and get this olive oil spread a little bit. I'm going to cook it face down first because then what's going to happen is I'm going to get some of this oil on here. Then I'm going to flip it over so that the skin can get nice and crispy. All right, so our fish is in there sizzling. You never want to overcook salmon because you want it to be a little bit al dente, I would say, because if you overcook it, it becomes really dry and kind of like, if you do that, it's good to stick into like a salmon salad. I'm going to wash my hands right now with soap and water. Making sure to get all those fish germs off of me. I'm going to grab a paper towel. And look at how that's already cooking so nicely. I really just want to crust those spices to the top. And from there, I will flip it. Okay, so let's go in here with our salad. I'm going to move these spices now. I was reading, I've been studying a lot about different foods, and did you know that there are hundreds of different chemicals and preservatives and additives that are FDA approved by our government for our food that are banned in other countries? Did you know that? This is why I've taken a pledge to eat fresh and prepare our foods not from packages and do everything from scratch, even create my own mayo because it's much, much healthier for you. This tomato's a little bit wrinkly, but that's okay. All right, let me cut this little end guy off here. Philippe, I bet there's a lot of amazing kitchens out in LA because I know that people in LA love to cook as well. I mean, we all love food, don't we? All right, so I've got the tomatoes done. I'm gonna cut just a portion of this onion, probably not the whole thing. I just cut this really weird. Do not take my my cutting skills on that one to heart because I cut it really weird. Oh, by the way, when you all cut your vegetables and have ends like this, put them in a Ziploc bag, throw them in the freezer, okay? Just start doing it now because then I'll show you what to do with them in a couple weeks when it gets a little cooler here on the East Coast because fall is coming next week. And that means it's going to be soup season, and I'm going to show you how to make the most delicious bone stock you've ever had. So all of your ends, all of your vegetable ends, make sure that you, thanks, Jeremy. My knife skills are okay, but I did cut this onion a little bit weird. So I wanted to cut really, really kind of thin slices of this. Now this induction cooker cooks pretty quickly, so let me actually check on these salmons and see if they need to be flipped. Yes, they're kind of like a little bit blackened with the spices. So absolutely, look at that, guys. Look at that crust. It is a crust. You know, JJ on TikTok, they go, I don't know if you can hear it over the sizzle, but it's definitely there. Now I'm flipping to the skin part. Oh, that looks so good. I'm flipping to the skin part so that the skin can start to get crispy as well. So we'll leave that go for a little while and get back to our cutting. I just touched this fish again, so I need to wash my hands one more time. All right. So again, back to, how did I get fish on there? There we go. Back to the cutting of the onion. Slicing that up real good, real thin. Just gonna use a half because a yellow onion is pretty pungent. Just half of onion in half moons here. Let's go ahead and toss all this into our salad. Spinach is not the main part of this salad. I kind of wanted equal parts of everything. So I'm gonna spread out these onions a little bit. I'm gonna put these aside for later. Woo, I'm getting a steam bath from the salmon. Okay, and now I'm gonna do the avocado. Remember how to do that? You kind of cut a semicircle around it like this. We're gonna twist, and there you have your avocado. I'm gonna do this in slices like this, and I'm gonna do big chunky cross sections like that. To get the pit out, I'm gonna stick it with a knife and then do a little twist. That removes the pit. One thing I love about adding avocado to a salad is that when you're just using olive oil and like an acid, avocado makes your salad nice and creamy. So I'm gonna scoop it in here, one half. I'm gonna scoop the other half in. Yummy avocado, my favorite. Stick all this on the stove for later. Gonna remove this because I don't need it anymore. Let's get out our tongs because we are about to toss this baby. All right, so generously drizzle some olive oil on here. Like so, you wanna make sure it's glistening. And then of course, for any salad to make it delicious, you need some acid to counteract that olive oil. I did roll my lime before we started. You always want to roll a lime back and forth like this on a board so that you can get the most amount of juice. Come on back down here. Get the most amount of juice out of the lime. And yeah, I'm having like a serious lime issue here. Let me pour that in. I've showed you how this works before, guys, right? You stick a half a lime in here. I usually then take it and put it the other way because this press gets the most possible juice out of a lime. It's an old cocktail juicer from back in the 1950s. And this little contraption in here will make sure that you don't have any seeds. But limes don't have seeds. How weird is that? How do they grow? They don't have any seeds. Let me do the other lime. All right. Oh my God, I want some salmon. Come on over, Krista. I'll give you, we have 3 pieces and there's only 2 of us. So you are welcome to come for dinner. All right. Smashy's resting. Smashy's resting his face. Come on over here. He's resting his, oh, now he's looking. Never mind. All right. I'm going to go ahead and do the lime juice on top of this yummy salad. Look at all that lime juice. We're going to have nice acidity in there. And now back to the famous salt and pepper box. Going to do some pepper. Always good to have a little spice. And I'm going to do some salt. I should probably do salt first, everybody, because look at my salt in here. It has black speckles in it because I always do my pepper first for some reason. And so I stick my pepper fingers into my salt and then it all gets mixed up. All right, that should be about good. Let's check on the salmon here. It's crusted over really nicely. I'm going to give it a little bit more heat. Let me check the bottom. Ooh, that skin. Oh, Felipe, you would love this skin. It's going to be crispy and delicious. All right, so I'm going to toss the salad with these tongs here. I'm going to make sure that everything is coated. And then we're going to plate because I think we're just about ready. How fresh and delicious. Oops, I'm tossing the salad right out of the bowl. How fresh and delicious does this green, light green, white, red, all these colors, and there goes some avocado. I never have a bowl big enough. I'm like messy chef tonight. Look at that salad. Beautiful, simple. It's going to be incredibly delicious. Let's go ahead and get this plate out and do our plating. And let's not forget, before we do that, sorry guys, the butter. We want to finish this with some butter. This is organic butter. Because of all the additives that are in food, they do it when our food's alive too. I probably should have washed this knife before I put it back on the butter. That's okay, I'll get it later. They put the additives in the food while it's alive. They give cows hormones and chemicals in their feed. Oh, I like that. Like a pro, Jeremy. You're telling me how to do my salt and pepper. I'm going to have to try that next time. So yeah, cows are given a lot of hormones, a lot of growth hormones, so they grow faster and bigger, so we get more meat out of them. Not good for you guys. So eat organic as much as you can. I know it's expensive, but it's definitely worth it for your body. All right. Oh, guess what I forgot too, because I dropped them on the floor earlier. My roasted pepitas, which is just roasted pumpkin seeds. I'm going to put a little generous supply on there as well and toss them in. Do you guys like pumpkin seeds? I love pumpkin seeds. Here we go. All right, now we are ready to plate. We're going to get some salad on here. Make sure I get all of the goodness. Leave half for my other half. It looks like about half, right? All right. And then let me turn this off. For the salmon, I'm going to take this piece because it looks so delicious. And there we have it, everyone. Chili crusted salmon on a bed of spinach. It's kind of a Mexican-inspired salad with avocado, onion, tomato, lime, olive oil, and pepitas. And that's it. Let's go ahead. Yum is right. Let's go have another bite. All right, here I'm going in. The salmon's going to be yum. Mmm. It's so good. I know I'm always like, amazing. It is amazing. And look at the crust. I'm sorry, the skin on the bottom, nice and crispy. So if you like salmon skin, definitely finish off with some butter. Make sure the butter gets under the salmon, and you're gonna enjoy. So I'm gonna go have this dinner with my hubby. It's gonna be delicious. Have a bite of salad here. Have everything in here. You can even chop up the salmon and like kind of flake it all over the salad too, which would be delicious. But for now, I'm just gonna do this. And thank you for joining me tonight. You know what to do until next time, you guys and gals. Stay tasty. Mmm.